this was a great segment done by Lester Holt and NBC, and a really outrageous story. Michigan county jails are currently under fire by some civil rights groups who filed a lawsuit against them a few months back in March. Jails in Michigan, county jails, banned in-person visits a few years ago for inmates in favor of a video call system, which is cruel in and of itself. But
bet you someone's making a nice profit off it, though.
Yes, that's of course what it was about. That's the crux of the story.
Sorry.
No, I mean, but it is Occam's razor. Of course somebody's making money off of it. They filed a lawsuit, and the civil rights groups basically alleged that it was a quid pro quo kickback scheme. Obviously, these prison phone companies were making a lot of money because, I mean, it really is just extremely disgusting. A prison phone company wouldn't be
unscrupulous and exploitative, would they?
No. These private telecommunications companies did a deal with Michigan counties and their governments, and what do you know? The county governments got their beaks wet as well, and they pocketed some money as a part of this. So these private telecommunication companies known as Securus Technologies and Viapath, they operate the systems. They get some money because they charge a fee for every time a family member wants to contact somebody who's in a county jail. Then the county...
You're playing the game called capitalism.
Yep. Then the county government's pocket a portion of the money that's made there. But the people that get hurt are people like this woman who was profiled here by NBC. And it opens with her, the only way she's able to speak to her loved ones.
How you doing today?
What begins as excitement ends in tears for Rakila Harris Dudley and her children. Separated by less than 2 miles and by a jail policy that doesn't allow in-person visitation. Rakila's parents, Philip and Brenda, have been caring for her children.
Every day, where's Mama when she's coming home?
It must have made for some rough moments with the kids.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I said, well, right now, Granny's mommy, and I'm going to hold you until you feel better.
Replacing free in-person visits with costly video calls has become the norm in hundreds of jails across the country. Here, a 25-minute call typically costs $10.
It just costs too much, and it's not even guaranteed that it's going to work.
Now, the policy is at the center of 2 lawsuits in Michigan, including one of them here in Genesee County, which is fighting it, arguing there's no constitutional right for in-person visitations. But civil rights attorney Alec Carrick-DeSantis disagrees and says video-only visits are painfully inadequate.
We think there's a constitutional right for children to hug their parents.
The video calls are operated by for-profit telecommunications companies, but counties like Genesee get to pocket some of the revenue. Carrick-DeSantis calls it a kickback scheme.
The theory behind these contracts seems to be if you stop kids from visiting their parents in person, these desperate families will be forced to spend more money on phone and video calls.
This is Rakila's first time in jail. She says her son's father physically abused her for years, leaving this scar. She's accused of violently retaliating against him after she says he attacked her in February.
It was a fight or flight moment. I never thought that I would do anything like that.
Rakila couldn't afford bail, so this screen is the closest she can get to seeing her children.
How does it feel that someone is making money off this?
It feels disheartening. It feels criminal.
I feel it's greed. Greed.
Sheriff Chris Swanson runs the jail and was a strong supporter of the policy when it began 10 years ago. He is personally named in the lawsuit.
How much money is the county making from video visits right now?
Over $400,000.
What was the reasoning behind it?
Money. When I became the undersheriff in 2010, we had to cut 10% of our budget. When it came to the revenue, it was very attractive, and it still is to sheriffs across the country. but we're going to change that.
And by change that, Sheriff Swanson meant now. In our interview, he told me that he believes he made a mistake, and regardless
After
of how the court rules, he says he's reversing course, reinstating in-person visits starting next month.
We're going to return to in-person visits, and we're going to reinvest our revenues back to lowering costs for jail calls and video visitations.
You're going to be leaving money on the table.
Okay, I hated this part of this. I loved this piece, but the end of it is this like puff piece about this guy.
He wouldn't have sat down for it with.
Of course, right? I know, but
nice watch, Sheriff.
But right, right.
Speaking of reinvestment,
yeah, reinvesting in this bling. Like I don't know. I mean, just look. Could you just put it on the screen? Look at this guy. Look at that watch. Look at that watch.
I love that he was like, no, yes, I'm extremely evil.
Right. I mean, and he sat down with him and he admitted it was about the money. So the value of that to have some, I realized the wrong of my ways tacked on the end is, I'm sure NBC needed that, and I'm not begrudging them. I just don't want to subject you guys to that.
When you're the Genesee County Sheriff and on your schedule for the week is Lester Holt coming down to interview you, I think you want to change course particularly quickly so you can go back to doing the insidious stuff that you're already doing. Yeah. That isn't as high profile.
Yeah. This is just, by the way, people are pointing this out. Mr. Melancholy, well, actually, that's not the right I am, but this is a good thought. Seems like it's cruel and unusual punishment to deny people to see their children in person, let alone the corrupt nature on top. Absolutely. But CHR writes in, Genesee County includes Flint. The amount of crap folks in Flint have gone through already makes this extra blood boiling, which is exactly right. And this is in the north, Michigan and Flint, of course, no angels there, but the amount of like abuses that happen in prisons in Louisiana or in Mississippi that goes unreported. I mean, you have no air conditioning in some of these cells in the middle of the deep south and heat waves and people being thrown in solitary confinement and no unsanitary conditions and abuse and violence by workers at the prison and things like that. It's just scratching the surface. But
America's the #1 jailer of human beings on planet Earth. In raw numbers, we jail more people than China.
This article at NBC tracked this or put this tracker by Prison Policy Initiative, and it just says 74% of jails that implemented video calls also banned in-person visits, like in Michigan, where a majority of the county jails follow this model. Meaning, this is not a supplement. This isn't like, hey, you can also be charged to talk to your family via video call, but they can come and see you in person as well. It's just like the only way that they can talk to people. It's completely compulsory and abusive. And, even the case of that woman with that scar on her face, it's her first offense, and she retaliated with violence because she was being abused by a man. Our system has failed people.
And a cash bail system.
Over and over. Oh, yeah. Right, apparently.
Should she be stuck in there because she doesn't have enough money?
Okay, yeah, actually, that's a good point. So all these critics of cash bail, you think that woman should be crying because she can't talk to her kids or see her family in person?
What effect does that have on the family?
Think she deserves that? Right. Well, I mean, in pretrial detention, there's a lot of those, thousands and thousands and thousands of those instances. Yep. So that's what tough on crime gets you. An outrageous story and an example of our sick prison industrial complex that's even outside of private prisons. The privatization of just the simple things in life and the gouging of the most desperate people who literally have no other option because they're in cages.
Yep.
For profit.
The same profit motive tried to do this to schools, right? Like this is sort of the Gates initiatives, and like let's get tablets and stuff like that. And the sad truth is that we care more about our kids than our imprisoned population in this country, and we allow these things to happen. I mean, thankfully, you have people looking out for inmates' rights that are able to at least get some breaks on the, hey, yeah, let's not turn the entire thing where people get to come visit you into just a place for surveillance and tech companies to profit, grift. It's, despicable.
I'm curious what the both the Keeping Families Together and self-defense crowd think about this woman toiling in a prison cell while her children are being taken care of by her parents.
Probably the same.
While she's there because she can't afford to be released because she defended herself from getting beat up by her partner.
Yeah, probably the same reaction that the NRA had or didn't have to Philando Castile being shot by a cop, even though he was a legal gun owner.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.